This is the TIP Network, where we talk about social commentary, the culture, combat sports, and self-improvement.
Frank Castle comes out, Frank Castle, the Punisher. First of all, dude, I don't have an alter ego when someone makes me mad. I handle it like a rational human being.
And we're going to get 1 million play. We're going to get the other channel another million as well. We are better than you niggas.
And yes, do I yell occasionally? Yes, everybody can lose it. But you're supposed to be not in your emotions, but as soon as I've noticed that people get you out of your bag enough that you're like, well, get out of here, get out of here.
What do you mean? Give us an example of how they got out of their bag.
All right, so one situation when he got out of his bag was there was this guy who was totally high on the platform, and he was slurring his words and this and that. And instead of just sitting there, like something I would do if somebody was there was I would sit there and I would let him make a fool out of himself. And then I'd tell, Scott, hey, there's something for us to cut up. And this is an example of why you shouldn't do drugs, right? I would use that content because you never let good content go. But you're like, hey, bro, you got to get out of here. And he's like, nah, I don't have to leave, bro. I mean, it's cool. He's like, nah, you got to leave. All right, because he irritated you. I noticed that women would disagree with you and you'd be like, all right, just be quiet.
Talk about Myron then.
Myron, Frank Castle, be quiet, let me talk. 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 Right? And I'm like, you get sometimes when people are just talking, like, and learn from Kevin Samuels, because I know you guys really look up to him. Kevin Samuels will let somebody talk for 2 minutes and be like, okay, I've let you talk for 2 minutes, you haven't said nothing. Now be quiet. But you just you just get hot-blooded if somebody says something. Also, there was a time when a lady called you misogynistic and you took 30 minutes to talk to her and make her prove that you weren't misogynistic. Look, I agree with you. It wasn't misogyny what she was talking about. You're an asshole, but you're not a misogynist. I don't think you hate women. I think that you're probably chauvinistic. You probably think that women deserve to be in a place and, we're here and women are here. I think that since you're so anti-marriage and modern marriage, which I understand, a lot of modern men should be anti-marriage.
Look, marriage is a one-time thing. Why not have 50 girlfriends? It's going to take at least 10 years for me to go, you know what, you've been through enough. And it would have to be the shit I put her through to get her to the point where you go, you know what, she deserves at least to get a chunk of me because I took a chunk of this bitch for 10 years, find another husband. And that's very hard to do because a man is a lottery ticket.
Right? With the allegations that's been coming now, with the light of evidence on these different YouTube videos. It's hard to respect a person saying the beauty of that content is they are showing the red pill awareness of the differences between men and women, right? And they show the delusional women that are from using their social media only as a marketing platform, because we know not all women are like this, but they do show one specific archetype.
And if I may, you do have to shoot them some bail because they're in Miami, where that's what it's about in Miami.
Everyone's clout chasing.
Everyone's clout chasing about Miami. But one thing, and they're showing the red pill from a young man's point of view. They're 30 and under, right? It's a lot different from me, a lot different from you, right? Here's the thing. You're supposed to graduate. You're supposed to be red pill. Understand it and use that to secure yourself a quality relationship. That's the real thing. So instead of like Abba said, listen to Patrice O'Neal. He'll tell you all about it. Patrice O'Neal, one of the greatest comedians, if not the greatest comedian that ever lived, been dead since 2011, was talking about this stuff in 2002, 2003. Even Rollo Tomassi, he's in a 25-year relationship. He's been married for like 20 years.
And he wrote multiple books about the red pill. And
so it kind of interests me when, I see this younger generation, don't get married, don't marry a woman with kids, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. You cannot be a high-value male if you do. Well, hold on a second. High-value male only speaks about your income and your network.
Yeah.
Doesn't speak about...
As defined by Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. It doesn't speak about, who you marry. I mean, hell, if that's the case, then you're telling me that there's multiple millionaires who aren't high-value. So Joe Rogan isn't a high-value male? Joe Rogan has a stepdaughter from his first relationship,
or basically all the CEOs.
CEOs.
How many times has Kevin Samuels says a high value man, especially if you are in positions in corporations and you get into that C-suite executive position, they prefer you get married. That's part of the tradition.
And people always find this very, very concerning when I tell them, it's easier when you're married. I mean, at my management level, which is regional level, right? They would prefer you be married. That's just the way it is when you're single or not. So so going back to it, I think you were alluding to the way they're living.
The way they're living, right? The allegations that are coming out. there's a schism from what they're saying and from what they're actually doing. And they have such a big audience, big community.
I like that word, schism.
Schism?
Schism. You know, because schism is a good word, but it sounds like something that an old black man in Mississippi, boy, you got a schism, will say. So look.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
All right. So you're doing one thing and you're saying the other thing, and it's getting harder to respect you, even though they're bringing great value to having people be aware on the superficial level of red pill awareness between the differences between men and women. But the thing is, with those allegations, right, using your influence, you're not leading by example. If you are building a brand, if you have a good brand, and you know you got such a wide community, especially of younger people, of younger men, should you not be leading by example? Should you be being impeccable for your word? Do as you say, whether challenging through the fights or live by your principles and your values. Because that's what Abba and Preach, specifically Abba, said, how can I debate with a man? Actually, let me bring up the quote, because I actually wrote it down. All right.
Hold on, this man did some research.
Abba said, how can I debate people that don't even live by the position they advocate to me?
Wow.
And this is going in regards to the allegations, and some of those allegations is indirectly getting girls manipulating, forcing them to perform services on them for free to appear on the show. And as well as going on to social media platforms that is very niche to seek arrangements.
Well, I'd say this, right? So there's two different things, but it's actually...
Just focus on something.
Two different things. So there's a text thread that was released where, Myron said, go on and release this, and you have a bunch of white knights telling you you're good and this and that. But basically what he was saying is that a lady wanted to come on their podcast, right? And of course they're going to want to come on the hottest podcast in Miami. If you're in Miami area or maybe you're outside and fly you down, it looks like a good time. It looks like a lot of people get their views up. You know, people, if you have an OnlyFans, your OnlyFans grows. And so they wanted to go on, and what Myron Gaines said, it's like, you can't come up here for free. I already know a bunch of guys that smashed you already, and you got to smash.
I'll leave the graphic right up here.
And so I'm just like, okay. And then it just occurred to me, and I looked at all of the different things that's going on, and all of the ladies he's kicking out. Certain ladies come back over and over again, and some ladies he just kicks out. He just gets rid of them. Where they disagree with him, he gets rid of them. And then one lady who he kicked out, she actually stated, and what's her Nina Unrated?
Nina Unrated, yeah.
Nina Unrated.
Uncut or something.
Nina Uncut or Unrated. Well, she was in pornography. She was prostitution and pornography before. She's older. She has a kid. You know, she was married. She's to a football player. Football player went broke or in a long relationship. And so really, really deep. That she said that, no, these dudes have always tried that. And she said, and this was not recent. This was a month ago that she said these dudes are always trying that.
My image sexually for your own financial gain and not pay me for it. I'm on OnlyFans. Why would I go do some sexual video to put on some dude's Patreon to put money in his pocket? Are these motherfuckers pimps? Are y'all the Miami pimps? Are the digital Miami pimps? We're talking about Myron telling me that he's an undercover FBI agent, or used to be, for the drug cartel, the Mexican drug cartel, the Colombian drug cartel, how he did terrorist attacks from Pakistan and all kind of shit. So you used to be an ex-FBI agent, but you're sexually harassing the women that come on your show? Because that's sexual fucking harassment.
She said that, like, she wanted to come up and they said, no, you don't have enough clout to come up here. You're not going to help us and you're just going to use my platform to grow. So you got to come on our Patreon and like basically bust it open on our Patreon. And what she said was, I'm going to use my kitty cat for my money. You're not going to make money off my kitty cat. I'll make money off my kitty cat, right? And so screw you guys. And she never went up there again. So that had already happened about a month ago. It was covered by O'Shea Duke Jackson, where he said
he backed them up.
Where he backed him up, right? O'Shea Duke Jackson has also backed him up against this situation here.
A bit, just the timing of the release of the Abba and Preach first video.
But all of these people I'm talking about, I do watch them, right? I have watched them. Kevin Samuels, O'Shea Duke Jackson.
We're still subscribed to them.
Abba and Preach, Anton Daniels, the THPP Network. Yeah. I watch these folks because they're creators. I want to see what they're doing. I appreciate some of their opinions. So going back to now, this situation with the text message, it kind of shows me that maybe that's how they're getting the majority of their ass.
Let me read it. I'm just being honest and stand by it. I'm not collaborating with you unless we fuck. You have fucked a bunch of dudes I know and aren't special. You could have just said no and kept it moving, but you are clearly in your feelings, going through all the effort with a poll, etc. So first off, let's break down that first paragraph. I'm just being honest and stand by it. I'm not collaborating with you unless we do it. You have done it with a bunch of dudes that I know and aren't special. So
basically what that's saying is that you're not going to be able to come up here and appear on my platform unless you bust it open for me. Right? And I could just tell you,
it sounds a little bit like extortion, a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, they can work out another business deal, right? Where they can write down an agreement. She gets paid for part of the percentages. And I don't want to use this as like such a strong word, but that's the best word I can come up with that describes the situation. It's not like a forceful.
If he was in California, it would be.
You gotta use the FreshandFit word.
If he was in California, it'd be called grape. If he was in California, it'd be called grape. I mean, I'm serious. It would be.
Wait, break that down a little bit. Why would that?
Pressuring someone to consent with something external, that they want. If they do consent to it, they can now turn around and remove consent after and say, this person pressured me and I did it and I can't live with myself. And you would have some serious grape allegations. I'm not saying it should be, but I'm saying that's just what will happen.
But you got to be thinking about those things, especially if you're running a business, a brand that's growing the way it's growing. You have to protect your business.
What do you think I'm going to say about that?
I don't know.
360
degrees of accountability. Okay, I should have known that.
You have to look at this when you're saying something like this and realize what you're doing and back away.
And I'm going to say this, though. This is pretty scummy behavior. If you're within the red pill or whatever, you're a younger dude, this is not how you do things with women. You can show the differences between men and women. You can say, you can understand their nature, but this is indirectly manipulating people to bend to your will. I don't like this. This is, to me, cuts me to the core of what it means to treat somebody with respect as another human being. I do not like it. I personally abhor it when we treat people just as objects. Do people objectify themselves? Of course. But at the end of the day, there's human dignity, especially when you consider the universe. And if you believe in God, you got to treat people like they have a soul. But in Walter Week's case, he wants to take their soul.
I don't want a bitch's pussy. I want her soul. I don't want a bitch's pussy. I want her soul. I don't want a bitch's pussy. I want her soul.
You ain't getting nobody's soul. The f you think you are, Ghostbusters?
This man said her soul.
Anyways, I want her respect. So yeah. I get what you're saying, bro. Like, I'd rather be the guy behind the scenes.
Look at your face right now. You're looking at the camera like, what is he talking about? I don't know where the whole souls comment came from.
I was like, this. You want a soul?
That's corny. That's super corny. But
I don't know what that is.
Which, by the way, when you said that, I want to take your soul. Man, that's the corniest stuff. Man, I'm listening to these guys. I'm like, bruh, hold on. Look. Full disclosure, right? I mean, I had my fun. You know, I've been, you know, some people watching this like, oh, well, you never committed to me. You just da-da-da. And then my lady now, she's like, he's the most committed guy I know. And that's because I'm in a different place than I was there. But here's the top, middle, and bottom line. If you got to do that, you don't have a game.
Yeah.
That's just it. That's the opposite of game. Okay.
And you're not leading by example either. Guys, if you are taking this, what he said, and you're going to run with it, I'm telling you, you're going to run in so many issues in your life if you attempt to emulate this behavior.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the legal issues and let's talk about the social issues, because let me tell you something. The internet is undefeated. It's out there now, right?
Yeah. This is out here. Subs?
It looks like 40 or 50,000. It's like something like big, like you know, like man, they gang banging on a subscriber count the wrong way. But the bottom line is this: after all of this is over, you still got to have a life. Let's say that you decide to resolve your podcast or whatever, or you do something else, you just stay in real estate, this and that. You're going to go meet somebody, and maybe they're not going to know what you've done before. And they're going to pull this up, and in 10 years, they're going to say, is this you? And you're going to have to say yes. You're going to have to say yes. And your kid, your daughter, one day, when you have a daughter, is going to look at this and say, Dad, did you do this?
And actually, will their brands, their sponsors, will continue wanting to work with them, knowing this?
It sounds like a Joe Budden podcast situation where he lost Cash App.
Cash App is you know how much I love Cash App.
I'm gonna tell you something, boy. You keep losing that money, it's gonna be some money to lose.
You're gonna be losing some investments too, some assets. Your ass.
But also, how many people want to? Sure, look, Fresh and Fit. I'm sure they do great business.
Oh yeah.
How many people are going to want to do business with them if there's other outlets? You're making yourself non-desirable. And like one thing that Anton Daniels said is that he said, when millionaires feud, nobody wins. And he also said that Myron and Walter, they feuded with somebody with an international following, with people from all over the world as comedians. They travel and like over twice their subscriber count. And he said, you didn't realize how popular those guys were. And he
probably
said,
around the world too, right?
He says, obviously you never read The Art of War. Because if you read The Art of War, he said, look, I have plenty of opinions. This is the funniest thing I see this morning. He said, when Kevin Samuels comes on the show, he said, I shut up. When he leave, I'll be talking again. like D. He's like Kevin Samuels, D. Bowser. He's like, and not out of anything. He's like, me and Kevin are friends. We talk together all the time. But he said, I have to understand that he's the big fish, and his opinion's gonna have weight. And if I have a real serious disagreement with him, I got to take that personally. I can't put it out there in the open, because putting it out there in the open, this thing happens. He's like, so now you have a disagreement with these guys out in the open. You cross the line. See, you don't know when you're crossing the line. You don't know how it's going to be taken, because you're not accountable. And now you cross the line, and now you're getting crushed. Your subs are getting crushed. And I don't care what it is. It's going to take you a while to build it back up. How are you going to build that back up?
All right. So before we go on to that one, let's go back to the text message, because we're going to lead back into that, right? And the next one, it says, you could have just said no and kept it moving, but you're clearly in your feelings, going through all that effort with a poll, etc. So basically, this was a public beef with the girl, and
it's some weak man shit. It's some weak. Like, that's some beta stuff, right?
But he's still continuing the conversation with her.
Right.
Number one, he shouldn't even perform that act. He shouldn't have even told her the way to get on my show is that we gotta go do it. But then you're gonna confront her about releasing a poll. I think the best thing he could have done is just plead the fifth and remain silent.
The best thing he could have did was to have a manager book for him. That's the best thing he could have did. Have someone book for him, and he's not involved with that. Because obviously he's not mature enough to deal with female talent on that way. And he's a creepy guy. Basically, what that strikes me as is that's some Harvey Weinstein stuff. Like, hey, you want to come on here, you know what you got to do. I mean, that's what it is 100% of the time. So let's talk about the Eskimo brother aspect of his conversation. And I was having a conversation with Scott. In my era where I'm from, I don't be trying to bang ladies who my homeboy bang. I just don't. I don't know the depth of their relationship.
So if you know that they've had a relation where they had sex basically, then there is no contact.
I try to keep it off balance. Look,
even when the guy says, you know what, it's fine, it's all good. Go right ahead.
I don't like to cross swords. This ain't the Knights of the Round Table. Well, all the women in the world, all the hotties, you a high value dude. You got hotties all over the place. But you gotta smash somebody someone else smashed. Oh no, you gotta give me something to come on my. Why? You're gonna reap the benefit from her more than she does from you at this point anyway. And
that sounds kind of like his pride was hurt.
Yeah.
It really does, because basically what you're saying is, you've done a bunch of my other friends. They're obviously maybe be a high value, or maybe they're not as high value. But this girl that clearly doesn't want to smash him.
It would have been funny if she smashed the dude who worked at Safeway, but she won't smash this dude.
Right.
I would have laughed my butt off. But here's the real bottom line to this, right? Sounds like a lot of beta orbiter energy there.
Yeah.
Sounds like, well, look, you smashing everybody else. When is my turn? If I just hang around and now I'm going to just use this for you, like, just because I'm not being friendly to you, I'm still going to use this leverage. I'm not waiting till you're heartbroken and, oh, come over here and let me rub your shoulders. And you know, I despise people who do that. I've stopped talking to people who I thought were quality, decent people because I found out they do this type of stuff.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead and screenshot the conversation to Cloud Chase. One thing I got to say, obviously, he's not professional, Myron, because he would have done a non-disclosure agreement even if he tried to propose something like this to her.
Yep.
Maybe he should have learned his lesson there. But this next one, I don't care what 75 simps said in your story to White Knight. The difference is I say what I want and I don't care what you think. They do. So basically he's telling people that are red pill aware that we are simps because we do not like exactly what he's saying here.
Yeah.
To me, this is from an ethical, moral, and principled behavior.
Well, the problem is like when Abba came on and he just said integrity. So
you gotta walk with integrity.
Yeah, you have to live your life with integrity and accountability. And this is not just doing that. I mean, this situation also, when I see stuff like that, it really makes me believe Nina Unrated. It makes me believe other people who said that this cat is ugly and he only gets women because he just banks Instagram models that he pays. To me, I think there's a lot of pay for play going on in this situation.
Good, because we're gonna lead right into this.
Right into the...
Yep.
Go on. Seeking arrangements? Is that what you're talking about that?
No, we're not going to seeking arrangements because there's a lot to break down. There's really a lot to break down in the situation.
I'm going to tell you something. This has been a dynamic story. And when I spoke to Scott last night about it, I was like, we got to really get into this. And then we had to just watch video and research like for 4 or 5 hours for this.
And this is a learning experience for any other content creators and any other content creators getting to a point where they are going to blow up big. You should learn from this situation. We are going to learn from this situation.
Especially if you're looking to be in that red pill space, because a lot of times here, I'm looking at this is that some guys who aren't really red pill, some guys who like Walter Reeks, he worked retail and stuff.
With Wix.
Wix
website.
Wix website.
Yeah.
So he worked.
Hey, if we can get a sponsor.
But he worked there until December 2020. So this is a lot of, this is something that I say, this is some new money stuff here. I think both of these guys haven't had this amount of money and influence and power, and they're acting like,
prestige,
and they're acting like rappers. They're acting like this is how you would expect. This is the stories that I heard young, like how Eazy-E and NWA would be on tour. Like, you want to come in here, you're going to have to give up the pennies, this, that, and this. Oh, well, you know what? You're going to have to do the whole crew, and there's all of this weird stuff that when I looked at it as a young man, I even thought to myself, wow, I don't want to be like the sixth dude to be there, dude. Or like whatever happened to your game one-on-one just to pull a female. And this seems like that money is really elevating them, and good for them to have the money. But I'm very, I gotta say that just this attitude really lets me believe that these youngsters, they're new rich and they never really had something. And I mean, Walter Weeks, he was raised in I think Barbados, right? And his family had stuff, and he came here, he got married, got divorced, and told his wife that she was great, she did everything for him, but he's on his purpose, he wants to do something, which basically, she had a kid, and so he was already a stepfather. And by the way, I don't think being a stepfather automatically disqualifies you from being a high value person if you're still able to lead that household. Because remember, leadership is the thing, it's the most important thing, and there's a lot of lack of leadership in these experiences that we're talking about here. But he came from that, but something tells me that he was just kind of a nobody in America, and now he's lit. His favorite word, this is lit. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit.
Facts.
It's gonna be lit. Facts. Lit.
Facts.
And so now that he's lit, what's going to happen? Now he's in a situation where he's doing stuff that's really out of pocket. So either this money, really
out of pocket, he's leveraging his platform. Instead of doing good, they're diving, they're falling into their sinful behaviors, right? We get all biblical with this, right into lust, right into greed, right into envy. They basically touch the 7 deadly sins, even wrath, with them coming at Abba and preach.
I'm going to slap him in the face with a Bible pretty soon. But and you know what? The bad part is that they're leading young men who want to be like them down that road. And so I just want to say something, because I mentor a lot. I coach young guys. I talk to them all the time. I coach young guys. I teach them. There's going to be a lot of, could I just touch that? I teach them how to fight. And then I talk to them about never fighting unless they have to. I teach them how, and I'm going to tell you that if you're looking at this is not an example of how a man should conduct themselves. As a leader in a household should not conduct themselves. A leader of business should not conduct themselves like this. This is not an example. And even after they BS apology. They go and they buy a gun the next day on Instagram. Lets me know that it was insincere, that you don't want to apologize, that you still can't let go of just being a tough guy. Well, what you should do is you should get off Instagram for a couple of days, do your podcast,
do some reflection,
do some 360 degrees of accountability, and be better.
Make sure you like and subscribe, and hit that bell for more notifications for all of our latest videos. And where can they follow you at, Grover?
You can follow me on Instagram at IamGorilla1.
You can look down the links down below to check out all of our social media channels.
Yes.
You're going to have a graphic pop up here. I talk about crypto, holistic development, which is a combination of personal self-development with science, tech, and financial information, if you're in that sort of thing. And also to make sure to follow us on TikTok at the TIP Network, where we'll be releasing more videos, and on our Facebook page, Happiness Podcast Project, and also our IG, Can You Handle the Tip _. Eventually we'll streamline all these names.
Live your dreams. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Take care of yourself and just ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip?
How I knew I was going to say that. And remember, we can have fun debates. Make sure you leave them comments down below.
Yes, sir.
And
booty in your face.
Boom.
What else?